Last week, House Republicans voted out their number 3 leader, Liz Cheney, for telling the truth about former President Trump and the January 6th Capitol attacks. Well, this week, House Republicans will take another vote on a bipartisan deal to form a commission to examine those attacks, even as several House Republicans are trying to rewrite history about that terrible day. My next guest was at the Capitol during the attacks of January 6th and voted to impeach President Trump over it. Joining me now is Republican Congressman Fred Upton of Michigan. Thank you so much for joining me, Congressman. So your colleagues working to form a January 6th commission said they struck a bipartisan deal. GOP leader Kevin McCarthy says he's still looking into it. Do you support the proposal, and would you like to see McCarthy support it?
Absolutely, I support it. John Katko has done a remarkable job as the top Republican on the Homeland Security Committee. He's a member of the Problem Solvers Caucus, of which I'm a vice chair, and he has been working very hard the last number of weeks, like 5 to 6 weeks, on trying to craft a deal that really does make sense, that will bring Republican support to it. You'll remember that initially Speaker Pelosi said that it was going to be a partisan commission. It was going to be 7 Democrats, 4 Republicans. Virtually all of us balked at that, said that's not really fair. So they've moved. The Democrats have moved. I've talked to the Steny Hoyer and others. This is an equal commission. They have subpoena power. Both sides have to agree to it. You have to have a majority vote. Has to be done before the end of the year.
Yep.
It's not going to be current sitting members of Congress. So I think it's going to be fair. It should get a good number of votes. And yes, I do hope Kevin McCarthy supports it.
So Leader McCarthy spoke to then President Trump on January 6th as the rioters were inside the Capitol. Liz Cheney said he should testify before the commission. Do you agree?
Yeah, well, my sense is that body, the 10 people that are there, are going to subpoena a number of folks. I would suspect, and I'm not a lawyer, I would suspect that Kevin will be subpoenaed. He'll be asked to give his rendition of what happened, as will a number of members of Congress that were there, whether they were barricading the doors inside the chamber. I wasn't actually in the chamber when it happened, but I was obviously on Capitol Hill. I have some broken glass, in fact, that I picked up when we returned from votes that night. But yeah, they're going to subpoena a number of people. It's important to get to the truth and find out just how widespread this thing was and what can we do to make sure that it never can happen again.
Speaking of the truth, some of your Republican colleagues are trying to rewrite history about the January 6th insurrection. Listen to what some of them said this week.
The DOJ is harassing peaceful patriots across the country.
It was Trump supporters who lost their lives that day, not Trump supporters who were taking the lives of others.
It was not an insurrection. You know, if you didn't know the TV footage was a video from January the 6th, you would actually think it was a normal tourist visit.
Congressman Upton, what's your response to those statements from your Republican colleagues?
It's absolutely bogus. It's absolutely bogus. You know, I was there. I watched a number of the folks walk down to the White House and then back. I've got a balcony on my office. So I saw them go down. I heard the noise. The flashbangs, smelled some of the gas as it moved my way. Obviously, was watching the live video. It was carried on all the networks at the time. Talked to a number of the SWAT team members after it was over. Obviously, talked to some of my colleagues who were in the chamber. And I spent some time with Officer Fanone, the Metropolitan Police officer, whose body cam was, you all aired it earlier this week, but it's been widely now available. I saw firsthand what that was. And it did not change my opinion from what I personally saw back on January 6th.
Does it make you angry when you hear your Republican
it's important that we do this.
That?
Well, I just, someone said earlier this week that, one of my colleagues who said some of those things was actually in the chamber, hearing the noise, heard the shots.
So what are they doing?
I don't know how you can be a better witness if...
So what are they doing here? Why are they doing this?
Well, that's why it's important. I don't know. I don't know what their motivation is, but I know that as I talked to some colleagues, even again this week, who were in the chamber, it was terribly frightening. It was they knew that by stopping some of those folks from getting inside to the House chamber, it's probably saved their lives. You know, I saw the gallows that were constructed on the east front of the Capitol. I've talked, one of the police officers, Capitol Hill police officers, is from my hometown. Spent some time with him. It was chilling what happened. Absolutely chilling. And that's why I think that it's important that we move forward with this bipartisan commission, get the facts out, try to assure the American public this is what happened, and let the facts lead us to the conclusion.
Let's talk more broadly about the state of your party. Your friend and colleague, Liz Cheney, of course, was replaced with Elise Stefanik as conference chair this week. I want you to listen to what Congresswoman Cheney had to say right after she was voted out.
We must go forward based on truth. We cannot both embrace the big lie and embrace the Constitution. I will do everything I can to ensure that the former president never again gets anywhere near the Oval Office.
Congressman Upton, you've been a member of Congress since 1987. You've seen a lot of ups and downs. You're one of only 10 Republicans who voted to impeach President Trump. How worried are you about the future of your party and, more broadly, democracy?
Well, a couple of things. We only win by addition, not subtraction. I was a supporter of Liz. I've gotten to know her quite well over the last number of months, for sure. You're not going to win elections unless you have that big tent. So I was very disappointed about what we did. She accepted that it should go by a voice vote earlier this week, and so that's the way that it happened. You know, it's the president, former president, that continues, and even yesterday, about the big lie about the election being stolen. We're not going to win unless we're a big tent, and we're not going to win unless we add to our base, not subtract from it. Certainly in 24.
Does it concern you that your own party leadership now, to a person, subscribes to a former president who, in your words, is still pushing the big lie?
Well, it sort of is what it is, just the way that it is. We all run our own races. We all have our district operations. We all, for me, you know, I've never been afraid to be for or against a particular president, regardless of party, and trying to get things done. That's always been my mission. And I know that as you look to the future, we have to have somewhat of that independent voice, particularly from purple states or purple districts. You can't be a rubber stamp. What works in Southwest Michigan is entirely different than what happens in, you know, Plano, Texas.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not easy. I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you speaking the truth. It's important for those of us in the media who are trying to get the truth out to hear. So thank you, Congressman Upton. Appreciate it.